My name's Stuart Quinn. Welcome to part 6 of my love of Indian motorcycles, which to be honest has been a hell of a rocky road, mainly because the current custodian of the Indian motorcycle name. In my last video I stated that I would share a video I did the day after a meeting Polaris Britain Limited had with me down here in Cornwall in December. Some of you know I had a mild stroke last August, so I wasn't in a condition to travel. I wasn't really in a condition to have a meeting. I'm still in recovery now, so I've put together some footage from that video. I think it will run through 2 episodes, so bear with me. I'll see how it goes. I thought it'd be easier if I did you a quick video going over the Polaris issue. It's just easier with my state of mind at the minute. Obviously after the stroke I'm getting very anxious. I do feel this situation, because it's been going on since 2021 and how much the bikes and the whole Indian thing mean to me, this is probably the cause of why I had the stroke in the first place. Very badly done by. I don't think Polaris Britain are treating its customers very well at all. Right, if I quickly go through the issues. Obviously this started back October 21 when I had the wheel bearing go at 14,000. We do a lot of 2-up riding. That was the whole point of getting the bike. We go touring. The tyres will have flat spots on the bottom, not the sides. There'll be no scrapes on the footboards, exhausts. So the thing's not abused, it's ridden sensibly, and most of the time when we're travelling it's in cruise control. So that disperses all the comments about bearings can go if. There's no ifs. I've been told there's bikes out there that do 70,000, 50,000, whatever, but 14,000 it should have rung alarm bells. Certainly shouldn't have had the dealer turning around to me and saying, that's normal to Polaris if their big tourers aren't built for touring. I don't want to publicly disrespect the brand, but I'm put in a position now where basically Polaris is separate to Indian motorcycles in my head. Polaris are not doing Indian justice. All they need is a bit of customer service, which wouldn't cost a lot. But the effect of the bearing then cause issues with the engine, which again has never been sorted out, looked at or explained properly to me. This has all been put in writing to the dealer and explained to him via email, text and verbally, but he doesn't want anything to do it. He won't put anything in writing. Whenever he does an invoice, he won't list the parts as separate items. He just puts the total, so you never know what a part has cost you. Warranty work, he doesn't give you any paperwork at all, so you've got no proof that you've had warranty work done. Because I ride it all year round, I was fully aware I might end up with a few more slight issues than anybody else, but I was fully reliant on that dealer. He knew I was using it all year round, so I'm in his hands as to what to do. So the first year it was winter coated. He charged me £250 for that, and then I got it ceramic coated. Now I was not advised to do anything else or any other preventative maintenance to it, and obviously since I've brought these issues up I've been told I've misused the bike. I've also had the starter solenoid corrode, I've had 2 starter motors fitted, and I've had 3 batteries replaced, 1 under warranty. I've also had the war bonnet on the front, the bottom plate rusted up. So in general the service has been shocking. Then we come back to this caliper issue. Each service he's not done anything with the calipers. I then had the 35,000 mile service done by another dealer. Bearing in mind it had been in the local one 2 months before. He then found a new battery had fitted. He hadn't done the bolts up properly on the top, hadn't installed it correctly, hence I was still having starting issues. He hadn't serviced the calipers at all, and it actually states on his service sheet that he serviced the calipers. He said the rear calipers hadn't been looked at for months. He said the seals are hanging out. They were terrible. And I've even got emails from when I picked it up from when he serviced the calipers saying that I was getting a slight knock in the rear brake. It didn't feel right. And all I was told, oh, that's the ABS settling in. So this dealer has knowingly let me ride that bike away that hasn't been repaired, hasn't been looked at. He's since said that he doesn't do cleaning, he just replaces parts. Yeah, I'm paying him to do that on a service. So it's sublime to ridiculous. Either I've got completely the wrong end of the stick. I bought a premium level bike from brand new, and I'm using the main dealer. So then this caliper issue, or the brake issue, and the brake discs had a knock-on effect. I had all that time with lost fuel consumption. I don't know what else it's done to the bike, whether it's caused any other problems with it. I obviously had the clutch go on it as well during that period. So I've had to pay for all this, and it's down to poor service. It started off with warranty work that they wouldn't put through, and then it's down to poor service. And now I'm still getting the ABS issues, and now I'm being told they're no longer covered under the warranty. I then searched out on the Indian page, etc. Couldn't find any complaints procedure, which I think in the UK's a legal requirement. So then I as I said, I followed the correct procedure. Dealer didn't want to know, owner connections didn't want to know, UK Tech didn't want to know, Polaris Britain, UK, whatever you want to call them, they didn't want to know. Started basically emailing anybody that I thought would listen to try and get to the bottom of this situation. That's when I started getting results. I then had Jim Clark contact me, and he then wanted to meet with me. Now obviously I've had this mini stroke, so it was difficult to put that together, but in the end they agreed to come down here to see me, which was very kind of them. They arranged to come down on Monday the 4th of December. On the Thursday prior, I had an email off them wanting me to sign a confidentiality agreement and to try and change the location of the meeting. So I went back to them Friday, said, look, I'm not happy signing anything because you've not answered any of my questions since last October 21. I said, I don't know what approach you're taking. And I said, at the moment, my wife's my carer. I might sound okay. I've got short-term memory loss. Sometimes I forget what I'm saying. I can't walk properly, and I can't use my arms properly. So changing the meeting was out of the question. So they came to the meeting, and basically their priority was to get me to stop sending these emails. He then said that face-to-face meetings were a priority and it helped sort things out quicker. I said to him that's a bit of a joke, because I think on the third or fourth occasion I wrote to him, I asked for a sit-down meeting to get this sorted out. They refused. I said they had put me in this position, that I hadn't had any form of customer service. None of my questions had been answered directly at all. And I explained to him that I was actually getting threats, but he didn't seem concerned about that whatsoever. The thing that really shocked me was I've got a brain injury. So they've arranged this meeting. He comes down and he does his starting statement, including the thing about the face-to-face. He then turns round to me and says, we have been given the authority to buy your bikes back and for you to have nothing to do with Indian ever again. I was so insulted by it, I did not know what to say. And bearing in mind, this is from a legitimate complaint about one of their dealers who've charged me for work they haven't done. They've said they've fitted things they haven't fitted, and they've allowed me to ride the bike which they've said's been repaired and hasn't been looked at. So they've let me take a bike in a dangerous state onto the main road, and then to verbally abuse me and to threaten me, and just to say, we want you to go away, we're not interested. I just cannot believe that a lot of things. I've got Asperger's, so a lot of things go through my mind. Certainly that one didn't. I was after an apology from the dealer for their poor service, some sort of reassurance from Polaris that going forward they would do what they could so I would get my confidence back in their brand. That's what I was after. Now, 3 years of owning that bike, I've paid out over £11,000 for service and parts. This isn't customization, anything. This is purely to keep the bloody thing on the road. Now, I know the standard cost would be about three and a half thousand. I spent over 11, and they're still turning around to me and saying I misused the bike, I don't look after it. I had all the evidence with me. He did not want to see it. He did not want to see the letters to prove everything I'm saying is correct. He stated to me that he wasn't bothered about the 14k, that is normal. He then stated that on the design of the bike, they wouldn't test a part of that ilk. They would not know the parameters that should be working, and they would not know what torque it was under. I mean, again, astounded me to actually come up with that. I know a standard bearing on a motorcycle, rear wheel, you'll be expecting at least 50,000 out of it. If you've got a trials bike and you're off-roading and you're beaching, and yeah, the bearing lasts as long as it lasts. You repair a bike of that ilk. This is a premium touring bike that we are using a lot of the time in cruise control when it's working. I even did a data subject access request on Polaris for anything containing my name or either the registrations for both motorcycles. They sent me one page which didn't contain half the information of what's been done to the Darkhorse, and that's it. Now, throughout this process, UK Tech, Owners Connections and Jim Clark have always referred to pictures and reports that they've been sent from the dealer led them to the conclusion that I misused the bike. I've repeatedly asked them for copies and they've refused. The subject access request is a legal requirement, so now they've broken the law. I really do not know what else I can do. I don't want to make this public. I don't want to go. I love the product. It's the fucking service is shit. Polaris UK do not care about the rider one bit. You go to events, they do not talk to you, they do not engage you. Once you've got that bike, they slam the door behind you. I even spoke to an engineer in America when I was out there, and he confirmed that you should be getting a lot more out of the bike, out of those bearings. He confirmed that there are certain issues that would cause that bearing to go quicker. But again, that's all stuff that should have been looked at as soon as they knew about it. But then he then made a statement that, oh well, I wouldn't take any notice of what a mechanic told me. I was also told the most likely cause of the bearing would be the rear callus being set incorrectly. So there's no evidence of a 4-month issue with rear brakes, is there? God. Again, he just kept going on about how I wanted to satisfy my complaints, how basically how I would shut up. So I again said I wanted Thor Motorcycles to apologise for their poor service, for the abuse on the phone, and compensation, because I shouldn't have been paying £11,000 to keep the thing on the road. Now, what I did say to him was, that's serviced on the dot every time. I've had no notes on the service sheets other than the one service that went to More Speed Racing where they gave me a little advice, but they did say what they did to the bike. So there's been no notes to any wrongdoing whatsoever. So if they want to get to this situation, they should then standardise the paperwork they're using. So then they have a reference. Well, you were told on this day you didn't do this. You were told there you didn't do that. But there's nothing. There's none of that whatsoever. I had once had a handwritten note on one of the service sheets that I had about 1,000 miles left in my rear tyre. So when we got to this stage, I said, look, at the end of the day, you've not answered any of my questions. You should have a rough idea of how long a bearing would last. You've got enough evidence in front of you to know that they've done wrong over that 4-month period when they've had it in so many times to sort a specific issue out and didn't sort it out. So then Jim Clark turns around to me and says, well, Thor Motorcycles are the top 5 of their dealers, which they've got 21. And then he turned around and said, anyway, Polaris, we're a very big company. We've got lots of solicitors and we will throw money at you to make you go away. Which, bearing in mind, at this stage, this was a 3-hour meeting, at this stage my head was down, I'd had enough. My wife stood up, basically tears coming out of her eyes, and just saying, if you just threatened us, you're doing nothing to help this situation, and you're refusing to accept anything we say, and you've got everything in writing in front of you, you've got all the evidence you need, and you're completely ignoring it, and you're basically started the meeting with, we'll buy your bikes back, have nothing to do with the brand anymore, and then you end up with, well, do what you like, we've got big enough solicitors, we will throw money at you and make you go away. And then we reacted to that, as I said. My wife stood up, reacted to that, and then he said, I didn't mean it like that. So yeah, I'm very worried where this is going. If Polaris America is happy with all this, then yeah, I will walk away, but I won't walk away quiet. I've put my heart and soul into this. I want the brand. I want to do whatever I can to promote the brand, shout from the rooftops. They should be shouting from the rooftops. I ride all year round. I can do so many miles that this bike is stayed, and I will keep it in the condition they ask me to keep it in, or they recommend me to keep it in. There is no evidence at all that I have not looked after that bike. No evidence whatsoever. So this attitude they've got, which is just basically started from me making a complaint about a shit dealer. But yeah, so anyway, sorry to bore you, but I just thought it was easier. It's helped me get off my chest, and hopefully I haven't rode it too long, because I don't really want to put this on YouTube. Because that's not the angle I'm after. I'm just after being treated as a fucking customer who's spent a bloody fortune and not being. I don't want to be threatened. And yeah, I am certain this is put me in the position I am in now. I've now lost my businesses. I'm trapped at home for 4 months because I can't do anything. My family's suffering. And all because I'm obsessed with this. And it's a major issue. But anyway.
Confidence, dreams, and some honestness. I'm not here to save the day, that's for you to take away. I could play a million mind games, but instead I say something not illogical, something that is topical. Rub it on and watch it go, make yourself unstoppable. Dreams are irresponsible, but they're always possible. If you just believe, you could be so remarkable. Thoughts in my head, a collage and they spread. I'll be great one day, going off of my meds. No, I'm not giving up, no, I'm not giving in. I will make it to the top, taking off in the wind. I gotta make it, I'm saving every day to taste it. I'm patient, but my mind, it can hardly take it. I'm chasing a dream that I've had for several ages. A vacant, modern kingdom for the taking. Now that I've been put through hell, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fake.